All right, well, currently I am traveling through Southwest Missouri, just passing through, and there's a restaurant here in the town of Ozark, Missouri that I have had several people recommend to me, called Cafe B29, which is kind of a combination of like a history museum and a restaurant, and I've heard so many good things about it, and it seems like it's going to be my kind of place. We're gonna dodge in here and see what they got. Okay, well, I just walked in here, and holy smokes, look at this place. I don't even know where to start in here, but this is definitely my kind of restaurant. Okay, I said that I don't know where to start, so I guess that I'll just start right here. One thing that has caught my eye right off of the bat is the light fixtures are all helmets and helmet liners. So that's pretty cool. So here's another helmet liner, and you can see that the original veteran who owned this had his division insignia there, had his name on the back, and look at here. Have the old famous Kilroy was here cartoon on his helmet liner. That is really neat. Okay. Now, this place, I mean, it's a diner, but it really doubles as a museum. This is a section of parachute from a paratrooper that landed in Normandy on D-Day. This was recovered from St. Mary-Glise. And up here, let me zoom in a little bit on this. This is a picture of the very first B29 that rolled off of the line in Wichita, Kansas, and it's signed by all of the Rosie the Riveters who worked on that particular bomber. So cool. Here's something else that's pretty neat. As you can imagine, there are, a lot of World War II veterans who have come through here since the diner opened, and kind of, I don't know, get a little piece of nostalgia here. And all of them, whenever they come through, sign their names here. So again, there are just so many little details in this cafe. If you look at all of the tabletops, well, with the exception of one table, these are all original pictures that have been blown up that veterans have brought in. So you get a really unique flavor to this restaurant. Yeah, whenever you come here, don't forget to look up as well, because they have all kinds of things hanging from the ceiling, including these old machine gun barrels. A couple old original newspapers, one announcing the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese, and then another one obviously announcing VE Day. That was from the Wichita Beacon. I really like that they have this as well. One often overlooked aspect of World War II was the role that women played. So here they have some uniforms that belonged to the Waves and also the Women's Army Corps. So giving honor to the women who served in World War II as well. So again, like I said, whenever you come in here, you can't forget to look up, or else you would miss the water mine like I just missed. Here's something else that's really neat. Now there's a B29 that's in service today called Doc. Well, these are some of the original engine parts from Doc. All right, so I've been just taking all of this in, and wanted to show you the brainchild behind this whole diner. This is Chaz, and I don't know half of what I'm looking at because there are so many pictures. So she's going to kind of show me around and tell me some of these stories.
When we opened 3.5 years ago, my grandfather was a World War II vet and the inspiration behind the cafe, and we wanted to bring back the feeling of a 1940s diner, but we also wanted to have history be a part of it, and so we started encouraging our customers to bring in their photos and uniforms and whatever they wanted to put on the walls, and it has just evolved into something remarkable. This is one of my favorite tables. This is my friend Dick Howell. He was one of my World War II vets, and him and his crew survived 25 missions on a B-17, and he got the Lucky Bastard Club Award. And I told him, I said, if you would make me a copy of that, it will be like one of my most favorite things in the cafe, because they don't teach you this stuff in school. You don't hear about a Lucky Bastard Club. They tried to find a sense of humor in a really bad situation. So he brought me that, and I put it up there. And the photo on the table is of his B-17 of their very first mission, and he is actually in the seat of the gunner position. So the photo on the table has Dick Howell in the airplane. We lost him a year ago to cancer, but I tell you what, the 2 years I got to know him and his wife Peggy, they are incredible people, and I will be forever grateful. But you can see some of the uniforms are on display for the family, meaning that they can always have it back anytime they want it. We've probably had about 65 World War II vets in, and they've been incredible. We treat them like rock stars when they come in. They never pay for a meal, and they've taught us a lot. One of my local World War II vets, his name is John Brown. John Brown joined the Marines in World War II when he was 15 years old, and I got to know him and his wife, and he was talking about a book called With the Old Breed, and he said you really need to read it to understand the history of the Marines during, the Pacific battles. And so the next day he was sitting on the front porch, and he brought me a book, and he had the pages folded neatly of all the battles he was in. And as I've read the book, he'll come in, he goes, what chapter are you at? Have you got to Sugarloaf Hill yet on Okinawa? And he has taught me more about history than I've ever learned in school. I mean, it's incredible. And every time he comes in, I look for any Marines in the room, because I have to bring those Marines over to meet a World War II Marine, because he's that cool.
That is incredible. That's one of my favorite books of all time.
Oh my gosh. I read it, and then I've listened to it, and because I have questions.
Yeah.
There's just, and as I've gone to the different battles, like Shuri Castle and different things that I've never heard of. I've never uttered these words of history that I should know.
Yeah.
That I should know. So this is one of my lady pilots on the wall. Her family came through going to Branson, and her grandmother's still alive and lives in Wichita, Kansas, and she mailed me a picture of her grandmother in World War II getting into an airplane.
Wow.
And one of my B29 pilots, Bud Carroll, that lives in Springfield, him and I were talking one day about lady pilots during World War II, and he kind of hung his head. He goes, we didn't treat those ladies very well. He goes, we really felt like they shouldn't be there, that they shouldn't be flying, but he goes, years later, it's definitely a different opinion of them. So
that's incredible. So here's another set of items that was brought in and donated to Cafe B29. These are the items that belong to a guy named Alan Salkill, is how I'm going to pronounce it. But obviously you can see the centerpiece there, his Bronze Star Medal. Also has his dog tags that were on display. These were all just sitting in a jewelry box and had been there for 70 years. Here's an old bottle opener and his old pocket knife. And then these little cloth items right here, these are overseas service stripes, or service bars. So this would have been sewn onto the uniform, and you would get one for every 6 months of overseas service. So if you count, let's see, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So that's 4.5 years overseas. That is pretty incredible. There's a little home front item there. This would have been hung in the window of a family who had 2 sons in the service. And then if one of them died, the blue star would be changed to gold. Yeah, so they would leave that hanging in the window until they got home. So this is officially the coolest diner I've ever been in my entire life. And like I said, everything that I've shown makes it look like a museum, but it is an actual restaurant. So we're going to sit down and order ourselves something to eat. Okay, so here's the situation that I'm facing right now. There is way too much on this menu that I want to eat. But I think I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to go with the old Monte Cristo here, which is basically like a ham and grilled cheese sandwich with raspberry jam on it. That sounds interesting. Okay, so I just went to the bathroom to wash my hands, and I had to go grab my camera and show you the bathroom. Okay, so once you are in the bathroom, there's all kinds of cool artifacts and pictures and things like that to look at. But what I found probably the most appropriate, it comes equipped with a gas mask. All right.
There you go. You want some homemade ranch for your fries?
Oh no, I think I'm good. Maybe some barbecue for the fries. All right, so here we go. Getting ready to try the Monte Cristo ham and cheese on a piece of grilled Texas toast with some raspberry jam. All right. Holy cow. Okay, so I'm guessing that you take the sandwich and you dip it in the straw or the raspberry jam here. Dude, that is good. That is really good. You kind of get like the sweet and the salty all mixed in. You wouldn't think those things would work together, but that is delicious. All right, well, to the people who recommended that restaurant to me, thank you. That was seriously the coolest place that I have ever ate in my entire life. I mean, it was honestly just fun. You have the history aspect with all the artifacts. You have some amazing food. And even that, whenever you come here to Cafe B29, you get the stories. So glad that we stopped here today. If you're ever traveling through Southwest Missouri, stop here in Ozark and come to this place, because I promise you it is worth it. But anyway, as for now, we're hopping back on the road and off to the next place. Look at this. They even have a stretcher on standby for if you eat too much in here.